Aló, 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 aló. What up? ¿Cómo está? My name is Joe Valdez. It seems to me that y'all like my cover of Usui Takumi's theme from one of my favorite anime rom-coms called Kaichou wa Maid-sama, or Maid-sama, very simply. And there has been, well, at least one dude who has requested pretty much all the parts. And so here's one of them, and it's gonna be that funk guitar part in the lower right-hand corner of the video. This is my tutorial for how to play that part. Let's go ahead and learn that funk part for Usui Takumi's theme for Maid-sama. Let's go! Let me take my flip-flops off. My slippers. Bare feet. Feels good. The funk part comes in after the intro, where you hear this chord progression 4 times. That is out of tune. There you go. The funk part comes in after you hear this chord progression about 4 times in the intro. 3, 4. That intro is actually kind of hard to play. So once you hear those 2 chords played through just like that about 4 times in the intro, then you hear the main melody. The main melody and the funk part both come in at the same time. So the funk part, when you hear the main melody, sounds like this. Okay, what are the tabs for that? I am using my second finger, or middle finger if you will, on the, what's that, the 9th fret of the G string, and the first finger, or index finger, on the 8th fret of the B string. And I am forming a 2-note chord, or a double stop, if you will, with those 2 strings. And those 2 fingers and those 2 frets. So that's chord number 1. Let's just call it that. Double stop number 1. And then we have this part. That's the second one. Okay. This second double stop or chord is formed by placing the first finger on the, what's this, the 11th fret of the G string. And I am playing the second note with my 3rd finger on the 12th fret of the B string. So the 2 chords are... It's 2 notes each. Okay? Now that is not what makes it funky. It's the... Playing the funk part is all about the percussive stuff that you do with your pick with your right hand. This is actually going to be the harder part to learn, what you do with your right hand. Okay, let me show you that strumming pattern. It will probably help some of you more musically inclined nerds to understand how I played that if I tell you that that entire thing is a swung rhythm. A swung rhythm is when the first strum, the downstroke, has a longer rhythm than the upstroke, the second stroke. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So you basically, I'll try to break this down as best as I can for you. You do 2 downs, and then you'll do a percussive stroke. The percussive stroke is achieved mainly by doing a lot of muting, and you have to mute very well. That's what makes a good funk part successful. I'm trying to mute all the strings around the G and B string, so that would be the high E and the D string, and I'm doing my best to make sure that those 2 strings in particular don't ring out. The A and the low E string, I simply just do my best to avoid strumming them at all. So my pick stays away from my low E and A string, but the D and high E, I do my best to make sure that they don't ring out. The underside of my first finger mutes the high E, and my third finger, or ring finger, mutes the D string. And also the side of my middle finger, my second finger, mutes the D string. I'll do just the first chord for now, and try to focus on what my right hand is doing. So very slowly, it's down, unmuted, down, unmuted, down, muted, up, unmuted, up, muted, and then a down, unmuted. And that is the basic pattern throughout all the chords for the funk part of the song. And you do that as well here. You make that pattern cover the whole song, and you have the whole part. When I go here, I use my second finger to mute across all the lower strings, and the side of my third finger mutes the high E string. Again, muting is key. It's not just about playing the 2 notes here and the 2 notes here. It's how you make sure the other 4 strings that you don't want ringing out stay muted. So again, muting is key to making this sound funky fresh. That was lame. Okay. So in the part where you go da 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 da. I count 4 cycles through the 2 double stops. Now we have the next part. Da 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 da. So that's 3 times through the 2 chords we just discussed. When we get to the 4th time, in this third part, we go a bar across G and B, 5th fret, a bar across the 7th fret G and B, I'm using my first finger, and then we'll have a very, very short bar across the 6th fret of G and B. So we do have a little chromatic lick there. So that part will go... You don't want the high E string, so make sure you mute that. That's how that little part goes. So in the part where you go, da, da, 1 second. Da, 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 da. That was lame. So you do that. And then you go back to the last repeat of the main melody, and then you go back to the first two double stops. And you do that about 6 times till the end. At the end, I do a little slide. And that's kind of how I finish the double stop funky part. And then the song finishes with the rest of the chords very mellow. 3, 4. Yeah. Okay? So you need to know this chord, this chord, this chord, this chord, and this chord. And I will leave it to you how you want to mute. So here are the chords with my muting ability. The muting ability. The fingers that I prefer to use to mute. Here, predominantly 3rd finger, as you can see spreading across the entire fretboard. Here it's predominantly the 2nd finger. Here it's going to be all predominantly my 2nd finger as well. Okay? Now I'm going to attempt to play the entire song. Granted, my muting funky part will not sound quite as good as my recorded version of the song, because right now I'm recording straight into camera, but hopefully it'll sound good enough for you to get the gist of how you need to play the funky part of my acoustic cover of Usui Takumi's theme. Here we go. Hopefully the audio syncs. Let's go. Let's do this. Cool. That was the funk part of Usui Takumi's theme. And hopefully that clarifies how I played that part. And I hope you enjoyed it. If that was a good tutorial, and if you have comments, suggestions, anything at all, just don't do hate, because I'm not going to reply. I won't stand for it. But if you have anything to say at all that is informative or whatnot, or suggestions or constructive criticism or whatever, like, oh, maybe you could teach this way, it'll make more sense or whatever, please leave a comment down below. I would be glad to start a conversation with you. And hopefully I can do more of these things where I can just teach you the parts of my anime acoustic covers, because I'm enjoying these covers. I'm actually quite enjoying creating them. I hope you enjoyed this, and enjoy learning how to play one of my favorite tracks from one of my favorite anime rom-coms. Maid-sama is so funny. Peace, God bless, and I'll see you soon. Da.